What's good, y'all? It's your boy Biosparta 3.0, keeping the action going with another Ranger review. Today we're having a look at the Power Rangers Super Mega Force Lightspeed Rescue Titanium Ranger figure. All right, so I needed a Titanium Ranger figure in my collection, man, and unfortunately, obviously, they never made one in the Lightning collection. And they didn't make one in SH Figure Arts either, which is a shame because SH Figure Arts would have made like the perfect Titanium Ranger. But that being said, we did get one in this Super Mega Force line, which is kind of aimed more towards kids. It's definitely not really like an adult collector aim line. It's definitely more of like the cheaper kind of side of like kids toys and all that. But this one, I have to say, really stands out as being, I think, one of the best that has come out of this entire Super Mega Force line. And I've always been like, aware of this line, semi-aware. I didn't really know the name of this line, but I remember seeing like, photos of like the Green Samurai Ranger from Ninja Storm, like in the Super Mega Force packaging and stuff when I was looking for like a Green Ranger, like a really solid Green Samurai Ranger figure, and that was one of the ones that came up when I was searching. So I've always been like kind of aware of this line, but never really got into it. Never really like looked into it all that deep because I think I saw some reviews by like Dawson Rider and all that, and I saw that detail wise they look very decent, but articulation and all that obviously isn't quite what you would want it to be as an adult collector. Definitely not like on par with Lightning collection or anything like that. But nonetheless, I think this is a dope Ranger. After watching Lightspeed Rescue, this guy is honestly one of my favorite six Rangers, man. I gotta say, as a kid, I wasn't really too familiar with him, but yeah, he definitely was like he has become one of my favorite all-time six Rangers for sure. Very, very dope Ranger. It's a shame we only got him. He has like one of the shortest arcs in all of like probably like all of Power Ranger history. He literally only showed up for about 4 episodes, I kid you not, in Lightspeed, which is really a shame because he was so dope. Every time he showed up in Morphed, man, I always got like super excited and just pumped up. But yeah, man, it's a shame that they only gave him about 4 episodes. And fun fact, in case you didn't know, he is the first American all-exclusive Ranger. So in the Sentai version of Lightspeed Rescue, they did not have a sixth Ranger. So he is actually like an all-new Ranger, creation and design, which is really cool. So yeah, that is like one of the times that the American Power Rangers actually was differentiated from the Japanese Sentai. So yeah, they added a sixth Ranger because they know that sixth Rangers sell and are popular, and I guess like in order to boost ratings and obviously make a profit with the toy market and stuff, they created a sixth Ranger, which is of course the Titanium Ranger, and he looks absolutely dope. I love the design of this guy. Really, really solid design. It looks like something that at least to me, like something that the Japanese people would have designed or like cooked up for a six Ranger outfit. So I really, really like it. It fits in, I feel like, with the rest of the the other core Rangers very well. And yeah, so I needed one in my collection, so I picked up this one. I want to give a big shout out to Big Haps on Mercari. Big thanks to you, sir. He gave me this guy at a really solid price. He actually gave me kind of like he sold it as a lot of 2 figures. So it was this guy and then another Ranger that we'll be looking at very soon on the channel. Be reviewed very, very soon. But yeah, also from the Super Mega Force line. So yeah, I got a really pretty nice deal on this one. So big thanks to Big Haps on Mercari. Awesome seller, definitely would do business again. And yeah, man, we chatted back and forth. Great communication. Really awesome seller. And I was glad I was able to pick this guy up. So here he is. I like the Super Mega Force packaging. It definitely does remind me of like kind of like both like it's like an old school feel, but also has kind of like a modern day take on it. And I like it a lot. I like that we get this nice big window to easily see the figure, front and center and everything that he comes with. We get this nice cool shot of the Titanium Ranger posed up in the front. Lightspeed Rescue Titanium Ranger Action Hero. All right. ages 4 and up. So obviously, again, aimed towards like kids and stuff. Even though like a lot of the adult collectible packages will say like 4 and up, but because you can technically get them for kids, but this one is definitely aimed at like a younger audience. And then Bandai. So yeah, I was looking at the sculpt of this guy, and I was like, you know what? He does look sculpt wise very similar to like those Bandai, Lightspeed rescue figures, like the Green Ranger that we just reviewed from Lightspeed. And then, I just happened to look at the package last night, and I noticed that Bandai was in the corner right here. So I guess they are, in charge of this line. Bandai makes these figures, so I was like, makes sense. So yeah, we got, on the side of the package, the little symbol for Super Megaforce. And then on the back here, I really, really like the back design of these packages. We get a nice bio, read up. So right there at the top, it says, although at first under the control of the evil Diabolico, the Titanium Ranger eventually breaks free and becomes a powerful ally and trusted teammate of the Lightspeed rescue team. So boom, there you go. That's, in a nutshell, that is basically his, his backstory. It does go a little deeper than that. Once you watch the show, you'll find out more about him. I'll just say that he has a, kind of special relationship with two of the core characters in the show. And I'll just leave it at that. I won't spoil too much, but yeah. And then, down below we have Ranger team. I really like how they break this down. So it almost kind of reminds me of like a playing card or something. Like if you had like collector cards or like, a card game. I really like how it breaks all these down. So we have Ranger team, Lightspeed Rescue, obviously. Name, Ryan Mitchell, that is his name. That is his, real name. And then battle gear, we have the titanium laser. And then for the Zords, or his Zord, we have the Max Solar Zord, which is what he wields in the show. So yeah, man, super dope. You got to look at a bunch of the Rangers in the line that you can collect. One of them being this one. I always find it funny when they include a picture of like the figure that you actually got, like on the box. Like, like that's kind of unnecessary to me because like this is the figure, so you don't need to see it as far as other things to collect. But yeah, they do have Time Force Red, Lost Galaxy Red, In Space Red. Who is that? That looks like Turbo Red. We have the Zeo Gold Ranger. We have the red Ninja Ranger from, or sorry, not Ninja Ranger, Alien Ranger, the red Alien Ranger from like Mighty Morphin. And then you have, I guess, I don't know if that's a Silver Ranger, but looks like the silver one from, I guess, Super Megaforce. But yeah, so you got those other Rangers that you can collect in the line. It says collect them all. And boom, so yeah, there you go. And you got front of the package, at the bottom, just a bunch of legalese, barcode, and all that stuff. Package is like a little bit messed up, as you guys probably have noticed by now, but I really don't care too much. I just want to get to the figures, so let's go ahead and pull them out. And this package is actually like pretty much like halfway open already. Like, like he said that in the description. The package did have like a little damage or like whatever to it. So this is going to be a very easy time for me opening it up. I won't have to struggle with it, so that's nice. So I got it right out of the box in the clamshell. Let's go ahead and pull him out of here. Alrighty then. There we go. So let me just adjust him a little bit here. Okay. Very, very nice. Alright, so I'll tell you guys why I'm laughing in a minute, but first off, let me stand him up here. Alright, so here is the Titanium Ranger from the Super Megaforce line. And it is a nice figure, man. I do like the look of it a lot. One thing though that I don't like about this line, and I don't know how apparent it'll be on camera right now, but maybe you guys can already tell, the size of these Ranger figures is very small, and I mean like very small, smaller than SH Figure Arts even. And I didn't even think that they could make Power Power Rangers figures that were shorter, in size and scale than the SH figure arts, but apparently they can. They pulled it off with this guy, and they've done it with the whole line. So yeah, size wise, he is very very small. Unfortunately, he is actually like a shorter significantly than like your SH figure arts, which you guys will see in the size comparison section. But yeah, that is a shame. I really wish they would have made these in at least like a 5.5 inch scale, like SH figure arts. But unfortunately, if I had to guess, this guy's probably like he's like at least he's probably like four something. He's like almost like probably a full inch shorter than an SH figure arts. So he's probably like 4 or maybe 4.5 inches tall, which is really small. I normally would never collect something that small, like in that scale. But again, I needed a titanium ranger figure in the collection, and so I decided to go for this guy. There was another release before this guy that came out. It was the Super Legends release, and the Super Legends line is like a very short-lived line, unfortunately, and it's a shame because they had like a lot of really decent Ranger figures that came out of it. But yeah, it was like a pretty short-lived line, didn't last very long, and that Titanium Ranger actually scales a lot better. He's about like 5.5 inches, so he scales really good with like SH figure arts, and you could even like fudge it in with Lightning Collection figures. But unfortunately, those Super Legends figures are very, very hard to find. They're very rare nowadays, so like you would definitely have to find it on the aftermarket. And if you do happen to find it, it would probably be not cheap at all, unfortunately. So that is like a downside for sure. But if I can ever find that Super Legends figure on eBay or wherever, I definitely will pick it up because I think it's gonna scale a lot better. Even though there were some like inaccuracies with that figure, like the silver color was definitely a little bit too light compared to like how it was in the show. That's something that I do like about this one, at least, is that I feel like they mostly nailed the colors. Like the darker gray of his suit is very like show accurate, because if you watch the show, like the gray of his suit was almost like a matte gray. It wasn't really shiny. It wasn't super metallic or anything like that. And it was a lot like darker of a gray. Like you think of like titanium metal. It's not, at least from what I've seen, it's not like very shiny and like doesn't have a whole bunch of luster to it. And it's more of like a dark color, closer to this one right here. So yeah, that's just something to note. That Super Legends figure I think was just a little bit too light, closer to like the silver side, and he's not really a silver ranger, right? He's a titanium ranger, so he definitely should have a darker shade of gray going throughout. But I mean, that being said, this is still a pretty nice figure, man. I do like the look of it, at least, even though the scale is obviously pretty small. I really like the gold on this figure, man. The gold is like fantastic. I absolutely love how the gold came out. You can see, we'll pull him in close. You can just see how nice that gold looks, even though he's like technically a cheaper, style figure. I really enjoy how, the color of gold that they use for this figure it looks so nice and like a really true pure gold. The what do you call it? Super Legends release, they kind of had like more of that butterscotchy type of gold color going throughout, which I wasn't like a big fan of. We saw that with the what do you call it? The Legacy Dino Thunder White Ranger. So yeah, he has like kind of some of that going on for his gold. But the gold on this guy is fantastic, man. Unfortunately, they did not sculpt the shoulder pads. They just painted them on, which that's another kind of downside to this figure. But again, this is like meant to be a cheaper line, so yeah, you don't have any sculpted shoulder pads, only painted on. But nevertheless, at least the gold looks very, very nice. I will say that maybe they could have used it's a little tricky when it comes to like the T logo on his chest, only because he it's kind of light in color, so it does in some like lights it kind of like blends into like the gray of his torso. So maybe like one more coat of gold or something would have helped it stand out a little bit better, especially being that they didn't like sculpt it on like on top. So it's just like a flat paint job on top of the gray. And while it does look really nice, it does kind of like blend in from a distance, so it kind of like fades. So, that might not be the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but you definitely can see it, and it does look nice, especially when the light hits it. That gold is just beautiful, man. So yeah, he comes in the package actually with his weapon in his hand, the titanium axe, which converts into like, I guess the titanium laser is what it's called. At least that's what they called it on the package. But yeah, it goes into like a blaster mode. But for this release, we only get it in the axe mode, unfortunately. But the axe mode does look very, very nice. Like you can see, it's again in that very, very nice shiny gold. And there's a lot of sculpted detail in there. So that looks really, really nice. Beautiful, beautiful paint job and sculpting on there. And if you wanted to, you could obviously paint it to make it more show accurate. But this is one of those cases where, again, the gold is so nice that honestly, I don't think I'm going to end up painting this one. I actually really like how it looks in the all gold. I think it looks pretty fire. So I'm just going to leave it like this. But yeah, very, very nice to, see at least we got his axe. I know that the Super Legends release, it did come with both of his weapons. It came with it in both modes. So he had the axe and the blaster mode, which was cool. But yeah, let's see. So as far as like play and display goes, articulation, obviously he's not going to have much. This is like a cheaper style figure. But, that being said, as far as the head, seems like the head and the neck are like one piece. So the head can kind of turn, a little to, oh, there we go. Now it kind of freed up, got looser. Okay. So yeah, the head can turn 360. So there you go. No real swivel or anything side to side. Doesn't really look up or down. That's kind of to be expected with these cheaper style figures. And then as far as the arms, can raise them really, really high, way up above the head, which is nice. It's on like a hinge joint. And you can kind of like see like the pins or whatever, like the holes for the pins in the shoulder. But yeah, it is what it is. Comes back down to his side nicely. We get a full rotation all the way around. No bicep swivel, no forearm swivel, and no hand swivel. So again, it's kind of like more of a static figure when it comes to like the arms. Very similar to that Green Ranger that we just reviewed. But yeah, we have that. No torso articulation, unfortunately. It is just, purely sculpted. But the sculpt is at least nice. And I like that they didn't obviously he's more muscular than he should be. But I like that they didn't make him like super buff like the older figures. He does have a pretty nice overall sculpt. And then for the legs, he can kick forward to about a 90 degrees. Just about a 90 degrees, kicks back. The runs into the sculpt, but he can actually kick back pretty decently far, like comparable to like a Lightning Collection figure actually, so that's pretty cool. And then as far as out to the side, he does have a hinge, so wow, yeah, you can get you can get some really good split action going, so that's nice. All right, so we got really nice out to the side there. And yeah, that's about it. No thigh swivel or anything of that nature. The boots, we actually do have boot rotation, which is nice because we didn't get any forearm rotation. So yeah, the boots actually do swivel side to side. No ankle rocker or pivot, anything like that. No bend at the toes. But yeah, so yeah, it's a very basic style figure, but the overall look of it is very, very nice. Despite how small it is, they actually packed in a good amount of detail. And yeah, he looks pretty solid, from a design standpoint. Obviously the articulation is not anything, spectacular, but it is still a very nice looking figure. Bringing it in close, I really, really like the sculpt of the helmet, how they handled the helmet and the visor. Looks very, very nice. Again, that very nice shiny gold against the gray. And then they even sculpted like the little M logo just above his visor. And got like the lines in the middle right there. That looks fantastic, man. When I was watching reviews of this guy on YouTube, a lot of people kept mentioning like the how they got the M on his visor, and I was confused every time they were talking about that because it's such a small detail. I never really noticed it while watching the show, or at least I didn't like pay enough attention to know that it was actually like a M. And so every time I thought they were pointing to like his visor, which is clearly a V. So I was like, why do people keep saying like M? I was like, that's clearly a V. He doesn't have a M for the visor. I was like, am I missing something? And then, I looked closer and I saw that he actually does have like a M sculpted above the V, which is nice. So yeah, that's a nice little subtle detail, but yeah, they got it in there, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, man, so that's really about it. Oh yeah, as far as like, I forgot to say about the bend for the elbows, he does have like about like a single joint hinge, so he can hinge to about a 90 degrees. So that looks pretty good. I mean, that's about what we would expect with this type of articulation, but he can at least bend at the elbow a little bit. And yeah, there you go. There's a look at the back of him. Really not too much to this figure, but I do like the overall aesthetic of it. Again, I just wish it was a little bit bigger. Hopefully one day I can find that Super Legends release, and then we'll obviously do like a comparison in that review. But for now, this is my Titanium Ranger figure. So yeah, man, a cool little figure to have. Definitely if you got like a kid who's or a kid that is interested, like loves Power Rangers and loves the Titanium Ranger, this is definitely a figure I would recommend. If you can find it online, I definitely wouldn't. This is like a very cheap figure. I wouldn't pay more than, oh man, if you're trying to get him solo, like by himself, to be honest, value wise, I don't think he's worth more than like 15 max, bro. Like that's max. This is like a very basic style figure. Like 10 to 15 bucks. I wouldn't pay more than that. Like 20 is honestly pushing it, because it's definitely, it doesn't feel like a $20 figure. It's not really comparable again to like Lightning Collection and whatnot, but I just needed to have something to represent him. But yeah, I wouldn't really pay more than like 10, 15 max if you really want it. But it is a nice figure to have. They didn't paint the blue of his belt, in the belt symbol, the belt buckle. This Lightspeed like symbol in the middle of his belt should be blue, but they left that in gold, so something to note. They did at least paint like the gold part of his collar up here, so that's nice. But yeah, again, like I said, not too much to this guy, so pretty one of the shorter reviews on my channel. And I say short lightly, but you get what I mean. So let's go ahead and put him on the rotating display stand just so you guys can get a 360. I'll go ahead and put his axe back in his hand. I do really, really like this axe though. This axe is very nice. A lot of great detail, and that gold color is very solid. It pops, looks great when he's holding it. So if I can get him to stand, straighten out his legs a little bit. Okay, there you go. Thank you, sir. We'll get you kind of front and center here. All right, there we go. So let's get him rotating now. All right, so there you go. That is your 360 look at the Titanium Ranger from the Super Megaforce line. Yeah, man, shout outs to Rhett Fisher, who is the actor that played the Titanium Ranger. Seems like a really cool dude, and there's actually like a video on YouTube, I'll try to link it in the description, where he's basically kind of going through like fan mail, and like he has like a gift box or whatever, and he's like taking stuff out and showing you what he got. And one of the figures was this figure, I believe. Actually, no, it wasn't this one. Yeah, I think he showed, my bad. I think he showed this one, and then he also showed the old Bandai, like the older figure that's like 5.5 inches tall. That was like one of the first ones that he showed off. And that one looks decent, even though it has like a lot of design flaws. At least it's in a better scale than this one right here. But yeah, that was a really cool video, and Rhett seems like a really cool guy in real life, so shout outs to him for killing it with the Titanium Rangers. Again, it's a shame, man, that they didn't give him more airtime in the show, because he was such a cool Ranger in my opinion. But yeah, I really like seeing him. especially like in the team up episodes with like Time Force. That was cool. Even though I gotta say that probably is like one of the weakest team ups that I've seen so far is the Time Force and Lightspeed Rescue. Even though like all their morphs and stuff were like epic, obviously, but like the way the fight ended, I'll just say that it fell a little flat. So I was like, damn, they could have done a lot better with that. But nevertheless, man, very, very nice figure. I'm gonna go ahead and stop him here. All right, so boom. So yeah, this is just a nice, cheap little figure to have if you want it. I'm gonna take mine honestly to work. I'm gonna put it on my desk. Yeah, this is gonna be like a little desk figure for me. And yeah, hopefully one day they will either SH Figure Arts will make a solid, version of him, or now that Lightning Collection is dead, we have Playmates, taking over. And unfortunately, I saw a video last night actually that said that I guess the line is going to be called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reignition, which sounds like they're only going to be making the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So that really sucks for us collectors that wanted to finish like the teams that we got in Lightning Collection, the ones that were unfinished or not even started yet. That leaves a lot of Rangers desired, but unfortunately we might not ever get those Rangers, or at least not in the near future. But so yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyways, nice to have this guy in the meantime. See if there's anything else I wanted to mention. No, I think that's about it. Oh, I'll just show you guys real quick some pictures, some images of the Super Legends release, just so you guys can see what that one looks like. It is a pretty nice looking figure despite its inaccuracies. And again, in a much better scale. So let me show y'all. All right, here we go. So let me go ahead and zoom in on this right here. This is the Super Legends one in a pretty nice pose. You can see it has some pretty decent articulation to be able to hit like, that kind of style pose, which is really nice. So yeah, there's one shot of it. Let's see, I had another one here. Here's another one. You can see he comes with both, versions of the weapon, like I mentioned. So he's got the axe and the blaster. Unfortunately, they both came in like, a gray molded plastic. So, the detail is decent on those from what I can see in like pictures and videos. But, it's a little lackluster as far as paint. So if I ever was to get the Super Legends release, I definitely would, paint those weapons up because they look a little plain. The gold color for this Super Megaforce figure definitely looks a lot nicer. Yeah, and I had like a comparison picture that kind of showed you the size, like a size comparison between, there you go. So this is like, let me zoom out a little bit. Zoom out. Okay, there we go. Slide this over a bit. But yeah, so here is the Super Megaforce figure we just looked at. Here is the Super Legends release, and now you can see how much of a drastic, height gap there is there. Much bigger figure, like about like a full inch taller. And then you have like the two of the old Bandai releases of the Titanium Ranger, which are also about 5.5 inch scale, so they scale a lot better with the Super Legends release. So just wanted to put that out there and show you guys, what it looks like compared to those other releases. But yeah. So to end it off, of course, we got to do our size comparisons. So first up, who we got? Well, first of all, let's bring this guy back into the frame. Okay. So here he is, front and center again. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here so we can get some more room for these other guys. So first up, I will bring in the Bandai green Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. I don't know the name of, like, the official name of this release, this particular release, because, like I said, there were a lot back in the day, but this is, the one that came with the baton, the rescue blaster, and that other clamp wing weapon. I still don't know if it's the rescue bird or not, but you know that's what I was calling it in the review, or you know thinking that it might be. So there he is with Mr. Joel, and I mean they don't scale horribly. Like I guess you could fudge it in with this guy, you know, with Joel or like these older 5.5 inch figures. He doesn't look too bad. So you know I definitely went. That's you know I wanted to see how they were gonna scale, and then like once I saw those pictures of how he looked with the compared to like the old Bandai 5.5 inch titanium Rangers, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably gonna look pretty small next to him. But you know, I think you could definitely fudge it. I'm definitely gonna fudge it into my collection until we get an updated, you know, titanium Ranger. But let's see on his other side, or at least yeah, for some more kind of 5.5 inch style figures. Here we got the Thunder Rangers from that 5.5 inch Ninja Flash line from Bandai back in the day. And yeah, you can see they're definitely a little bit bigger than this guy. This is a tiny Ranger, man. He is a little guy, but you know, that's just how they did it. So there is that. For some Lightning collection, we'll bring in the blue Dino Thunder Ranger. And then for SH Figure Arts, we'll bring in the Ninja Storm Red Ranger. Right there. Let's back up the camera a little bit here. Make sure we're getting some good light on these guys. All right, so there you get your sense. And yeah, you can see both of them is significantly taller. Like they almost dwarf this guy. They make this guy look tiny, man. So yeah, it is what it is when it comes to the scale. Put those away. We have Vexicus from that Ninja Flash line for a villain, and then who else? We'll pull in Zeltrax from the Bandai line. And yeah, as you can see, again, quite a bit bigger, but that's how the scaling goes. All right, so we'll move these guys out the way. For some more Lightning collection, we got the Lunar Wolf, and we have Carlos in Space Black on this side. So yeah, there you go, man. Much bigger guys, but that's the way it goes. All right, moving on. Who else? I'll show you like some kind of Marvel Legends type scaling. So we've got the McFarlane Spider-Man from Toy Biz, and we've got Carnage on his opposite side. I'm gonna turn this a little more towards the camera there. There you go. Now you can see the three of them, how they scale. Obviously much bigger than him. Moving them out the way. Let's see, we'll pull in the DC Universe All-Stars New 52 Batman. And for, let's see, another, I guess we'll pull in a Mafex. We got the Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader from Mafex. If I can get him to stand, his feet are a little wonky right now. Let's go, there we go. His head is a little bit up, but there we go. You get the idea. Obviously, both are quite a bit bigger than Titanium Ranger. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. You guys don't really need to see, what do you call it, McFarlane Toys comparisons or anything like that. I mean, I guess I'll throw in Deathstroke real quick, but you guys know he's obviously going to tower over this Titanium Ranger. But yeah, just in case you wanted to see that. But yeah, man, that's going to pretty much do it for the review. I appreciate y'all for watching as always, man. You know, if you're a fan of this Ranger, let me know down below. If you've seen Lightspeed Rescue, you know, did you enjoy the character? I sure did. So yeah, man, I would definitely love to see an updated version of this guy with like, you know, high articulation and, you know, accurate sculpt and detail, both versions of his weapon, all of that good stuff. But for now, this is what I got, and you know, I'm not gonna complain about it. It is decent, and I'm gonna take it to work, put it on my desk, and he will be a nice little representation until we get a better version. Oh, and just real quick, right before I sign out, I'll show you guys. They actually did make a, I've seen like a custom, somebody made a custom SH Figure Arts of this guy. It looks pretty freaking phenomenal, man. Let me pull it up real quick. before we sign out of here. I gotta show this to you guys. But yeah, basically we have a SH Figure Arts custom titanium Ranger, man. Look how beautiful that thing is, man. My friend and I were like talking about this, you know, a little bit ago, but we both saw this image online. We were like, man, this looks beautiful. That would be like the perfect titanium Ranger figure. Just imagine, man. But yeah, you know, one can only hope one day that something like that gets sold or gets officially made by SH Figure Arts. And you guys know I will be definitely going for that. But yeah, that is it for the review. Thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a message down below, and appreciate y'all for watching as always, man. This has been your boy BioSpider 3.0 signing out. Titanium power. Yeah.